Having some issues here. I think it's working now. We're having some issues. It was saying it wasn't working, but I think we're finally good. So let's get this started. We are doing a live push day. I used to do full live workouts where I would be just working out, talking during the workout between sets. But it ended up taking a long time because I was constantly just talking, or might be talking to people about stuff or whatever, and then my workout would take like an hour and a half. So what I did was record the whole workout, and now I'm just gonna talk about stuff I do, why I do it, how I do it, and have everything listed in the description for this workout for exercises, sets, reps, weights, all that stuff. So you can check that out if you want to follow along and do something similar, and can answer your questions as well here during the chat. So kind of just gives us something interesting to look at while we're chatting. This was actually from a few weeks ago. I'm finally getting over, feel pretty much normal now. Had a really bad sinus infection the last couple weeks, but voice is pretty much back now. Still coughing a little bit, but feel a whole lot better. So hopefully workouts will be getting back to normal now. Been kind of just going through the motions, trying to do a little bit, but with the heat and the sickness, it's just pretty rough. Let's see. Are we running on this? It's not going to officially show. I'll change the time. Let's see. I think it's finally coming up. But essentially, you know, this is my home gym here. Setting up, I've got lots of dumbbells now. I got 5 through 50s, and then 70s, 80s, 90s, and 100s down the middle rack. And I'll do a quick sound check here. Yep, cool, everything's working right. So, most important thing to me is always warming up. You want to make sure everything's good to go, especially me. I'm in my mid-30s now. I'm not about to just hop on there and start bench pressing heavy weight or squatting or deadlifting or anything. I do a lot of warm-up sets, 3 to 4 warm-up sets. So starting out with just the bar here, and I see a lot of people get on and just start going like this really fast, like your muscles are most likely to get hurt at this point. Even though it's lightweight, I don't want to just start going crazy. I just want to ease into it, feel my joints, let everything loosen up, warm up, and that's what I'm doing here. I do 45, you know, just the bar, 45 pounds for 20 reps here, and you could do fewer if you wanted, but for me, it's lightweight. The more reps, the better. Really warm everything up, and then adding weight after that. This bar here is my newer Rogue Ohio Power Bar. I got the, I think it's, I can't remember if it's zinc or stainless steel sleeves, but it's the black bar in the middle. There's no whip in it, and it's actually 45 pounds. It's 45.1 pounds. I went through and weighed all my weights, made markings on them, so sometimes if you're watching you think, that looks like 190, not 185. Well, it's because some of the weights are off, so I have to add, and it gets within a pound of what I want it to be. But this bar is good. My other bar, the silver one in the background hanging up, is like 44 and a half. But you know, whatever. So second set here, we're doing, I think 120 for 10 reps. So I do 20 reps, 10 reps, 5, and then go into my heavy sets of 5 after that. And the way I do this is I start with the bar, so, you know, just 45, and then for my set of 10, I do half of whatever my working weight's gonna be. So today is 235, so, you know, that's basically, half of that's 120. If you go 115 or 120, but that's good. What are you doing? Internet messing up? Looked like it was lagging, but I think we're good now. So 10 reps of that, no big deal. And again, I'm not speeding through them, going down, touching the chest, pushing back up, focusing on good form. I have a tendency, I used to bench like this. So now that I retract the shoulder blades, arms at a 45-degree-ish angle, it's easy to keep pushing and really feel my chest in the warm-ups. But I have a tendency, you'll notice, you may notice, I noticed watching back, that when I get to the heavier weights, I kind of, as I start pushing up, flare my elbows out some. It's not like this how it used to be, and nothing hurts, but it's like instead of pushing straight back and then push the elbows out, it's almost like if you're doing a squat and you notice people go down nice, but then their knees cave way in as they push back up. My shoulders are kind of doing the same thing, so just want to make sure you're staying safe. Yeah, as far as time under tension, sorry about the lagging. I don't know what's going on right now. My internet connection's showing fine, but yeah, whatever. Turn that off. Might help. Make sure my phone. So yes, for what I'm training right now, I'm doing powerlifting. I'm gonna be doing a powerlifting meet at the end, so I wanna make sure every rep I'm going all the way out, because if you're not touching your chest and not going to the top, your rep's not gonna count. So train the way that you're gonna be playing. Here, doing 175 for 5 reps. This is my last warm up. But yeah, you can do that, especially not go, as far as time under tension goes, like even when you fully lock out, when you're tired, I can feel my chest getting tighter as I'm locked out, because I don't just push up and hold like this. It's almost like I'm squeezing my hands in without them sliding on the bar. And so if you do that, you're still gonna be putting tension on, because your chest muscles are designed to go this way. So after you push that up, if you're still pushing and like squeezing your arms towards each other, you'll feel a lot of tension. Really whatever works for you, but for me, as far as gauging progress and consistency, if you're always touching your chest, always going to the top, then you know, okay, I hit another rep today, or I added more weight and I got this many reps. You know your rep was the exact same. If you don't lock out all the way, maybe one day you get tired, so you're doing your reps to here, and then another day you're only doing them to here. Some days you're doing to here, and it's harder to gauge. So you can definitely do that and get constant tension on your chest, but you just want to make sure whatever you're doing the same every time. And so going full range of motion the whole time is always going to help. And you might get weaker too on that lockout part if you're not locking out on it. So for me, I just like to try to keep things the same all the time. As far as not locking out your elbows, I usually don't sit there and just keep them locked out between sets. You know, you hit it and then go back down. Except for, you know, maybe the last one when I get it and feel that squeeze like I was saying, I'll hold it there just and squeeze really hard for a few seconds. So this is the first working to 30. I try to get 5 to 6 reps when I do these top sets. So you'll see what I'm talking about with the elbows flaring a little bit at the bottom. I push up and it's like they go out just a little bit and not straight back up the plane that they went down. But I feel it in my chest. I don't feel my shoulders being overworked like I used to when I did it rounded like this, so I don't see any issue. What is up? My current bit rate is lower. Having some issues. Check my bit rate real quick while I'm setting up for my next set. Stream. Yeah, it's showing normal. Oh well. So, with my training for the powerlifting, you know, typically the more strength type of training, you hear people say doing sets of 5 to 8 or something like that, in that range, 3 to 8, depends on who you talk to. Around 5, you go too low, you have a higher risk of injury, so wait till you're close to the show to do those lower reps. But I want to start adding in a heavy single as well, just to get used to feeling heavier weight. So not my 1 rep max, but what I'm guessing is around 5 to 10% of my 1 rep max. And so on this one, I'm going up to 255, so about 10% higher than whatever I'm doing for 5 to 6 reps. And I know I can get it up, but I just feel that heavier weight. Let's see how the technique looks. Trying to make sure butt doesn't come off the bench. And this bench I got from Rogue as well, the same time I got this new bar, because I want to get a really good, firm bench that's the right dimensions and wider, and it has helped out a lot on my bench press. 255, down to the chest, back up. So slower, but still look pretty easy. I could do more, but again, I'm not trying to do 1 rep max, just get used to feeling heavier weight. So as those sets of 5 to 6 go up, so is the 1 rep set gonna go up. So my last workout I did 245, and then I think I hit 275, which is actually PR for me, but it's still less than what I think I can actually do, because it's up 5 to maybe upwards of 10% less, so close to 300 at this point, which I've never done, so that'll be cool. So now back down to another set of 235. And the nice thing about this too is I do that 1 heavier set and you're like, oh, this weight feels heavier. You do that single and then drop back down, and all of a sudden the weight that I did that first heavier set of 5 to 6 on feels lighter. So that's psychologically helpful. I think, okay, I know I can do this. That bench is really nice. It's also, aside from being wider and that super firm padding, like my other bench was a little bit more narrow, and when I got into these heavier weights over 225, I could feel myself like pushing in on my shoulder blades, kind of going around the outside of the cushion and almost touching the metal, which is not comfortable. Whereas this thing supports your entire back, super firm, and it's also kind of tacky. Here's number 6 coming up, I think. Push it. Keep your butt down. But it's kind of tacky too, so you don't slide around on it, you stay firm in place, and then that's really helpful for incline stuff as well. So I just do 2 heavy sets now because I don't want to, I do have bad shoulder joints. I don't want to put too much strain on them, and still get some hypertrophy in there too. Really anything between 5 to 30 reps when you're going close to failure is good for building muscle. So, you know, you're still building muscle at those 5 to 6 rep range, but now I'm just doing as many as I can with lighter weights. It's not as hard on my joint, but you work on the technique and all that as well. So I dropped at 10%. We're down to 210 here for as many reps as possible at this point. 2. And it's funny, I remember when 210 felt heavy to me and I was like trying to get 3 reps with it, and now I'm like busting out 10 reps. So it's pretty nice when you can, that's why I like tracking stuff, and part of the reason I like doing these live videos here, so I can have somewhere I can look back, see all my lifts with a date stamp when I did this stuff, and be like, oh sweet, I'm bench pressing like 50 pounds more, because you know, when you're bench pressing, you get stuck on a weight or squatting or whatever, and you feel like, oh, I've been stuck on this, I haven't been improving. You go back and look and be like, oh, actually, over the last year, my bench has gone up 50 pounds, so not too bad. I've had it before, I was stuck on the same weight for like 3 months, like only getting 4 to 5 reps, and all of a sudden I bust out 7 reps. I'm like, oh, okay, you never know when it's gonna happen. Just keep pushing, make sure you're eating enough, getting all your macronutrients in, micronutrients, make sure you're not too lean. It's the thing for me, once I started gaining weight, my strength started shooting up quick after my show. So last set here, I dropped the weight 1 more time, another 20 pounds, and I do a drop set, as many reps as possible. So here I've got 190, and I put on in a kind of weird order. I put on 135 and then added the 2.5s and then put the quarters on top of that. So I do as many as I can and jump up. I don't really run, but you know, go around, take the 25s off, and then keep going. And I remember when I was trying to get 185 for a set of 10 to 12, and it was tough for me, and it's cool because now I'm like, hey, I'm doing 190 I just did 13 on the last set of my bench presses. So when I'm at my weakest, I'm getting more reps than I could even get when I was fresh a year and a half ago. So another reason why tracking stuff's helpful and motivational. And when I have someone else working out with me, I'll just sit there on the bench and you know, they'll hop on, or you know, my buddy will take off the weights and then I'll just keep going. And I usually get fewer reps on that because it's less rest time since I'm just laying there. And here is where I really feel my chest getting tight because you're doing so many reps. That time under tension, drop set, it kills. So 190 for 13, drop down to 140. And it's just crazy because when you get to this point, like the weight still pretty much feels light all of a sudden. Like I literally fail. Like I've had it where I feel like I can do another one. I get down and I get halfway up and I'm just dead. I can't do anything and drop it down, roll it off my waist, put it on the ground. But that's all my bench pressing. So I do 4 main lifts. Well, I do 3 main lifts. I do flat bench because that's what I'm training for. Then I'll do incline dumbbell bench, a few sets of that, and then I go on to weighted dips. It's one of my favorite exercises. And then I do a superset of lateral raises and tricep press down. And on this, I'm doing single on the tricep press down. I've recently changed to doing it both hands at the same time with one of my attachments just because I like switching it up. And it just takes longer when you're doing unilateral movements. Gotta do one side, then gotta do the other. You're already tired from the first side, so it's you gotta keep it fun. And it's an accessory lift, so it's not like, you know, I'm changing from bench press to dumbbell bench press or something. So since I'm already warm from bench pressing, and this is a similar movement, I just go straight to my first working set. I've got 80 pounds I'm using here. I remember I used to do this with 90s, but I'd only come down to like parallel. As you see here, I go all the way down until the weights touch my chest now. Like I was saying, consistently, because if I didn't go all the way down, I might stop here and be able to get another one. Whereas now, I gotta stretch all the way, let the weight touch my chest, push it back up. So full range of motion. And you could get even wider and try to get it the side of the dumbbell touching, but I don't want to put too much stress on my shoulders. Maybe it's a cop-out, but I feel like that's plenty of range of motion there. But 8 reps, I think, yeah. And you notice I didn't just drop the weight. I see a lot of guys, especially with dumbbell stuff or something where it's overhead, you do as many as you can, you crank that last one out, get it up there, and then you're like, oh, and then you just drop it. Or if you're doing a press down, you get it down, then you just let off. That negative, you're getting a whole lot of work in there too. So if you notice, I got it up there, squeeze, and then let it down slow like I'm doing another rep, all the way to the full stretch, controlling it, and then finish. Same thing with triceps. Get it all the way down, and then let it back up slow, resist it, and you're still working hard. Excuse me. So we got second set here, 80 pounds again. This time I only get 7 reps. And unfortunately, I don't have dumbbells in between. I've just got the 70s, 80s, 90s, and the 100s. So my 100s are actually like 104. They're pretty far off on the weight. They're cheaper ones, but all my Rogue weights are pretty much right on. But the 100s, they cost $400 for the pair of 100s. It's like $200 plus like 100 and something shipping. It was crazy. I think it was like $220 for them, and then the weights were off. But you know, whatever. So I put those back, do one more set of incline with the 70s. And you see the incline, I have it on 30 degrees. Really, 15 to 30 degrees is all you need. Most commercial gyms have like 45-degree angles. That's a huge angle. You don't need it that incline. You're working your shoulders a whole lot more with that. It's hard on your shoulders. You only need a little bit of an incline to target your chest, and I can really feel it. And it works for me. So 30 degrees. 35 is kind of my max. I don't want to go above that. So last set here, 70s for 11. It's been really hot out lately. It's been killer doing these garage workouts. Like today I deadlifted. Did that in the garage because I like my setup. I'm actually building a deadlift platform right now because every time I drop the weight, dust and stuff's coming up out of the cracks of the garage floor, and I feel like I'm just gonna break the concrete eventually. So I'm working on that. I'm gonna be building that a bunch tomorrow. See, like that, let the weights down slowly there. And moving on to the next exercise. But then I went to my local gym to do the rest of my work. Because one thing I like doing, I started doing a lot of, is assisted pull-ups. It's really crazy. You get a crazy pump. My back is sore more than ever the next day, so it works out nicely. And something to be aware of, I'm setting up my dip attachment right now. Something to be aware of is if you are working out, something like this, outdoor gym, or you're just sweating a ton, make sure that you're getting enough sodium in. Because I did a leg workout, it was like 100 degrees out. I'm in my garage, had my fan on, I was dying, sweating like crazy. I drank plenty of water, stayed hydrated, but I sweated out all of that salt, sodium. And I worked out later in the day, and I went over to a buddy's house afterwards. And I didn't eat dinner, so I just threw a couple scoops of protein powder in my drink, drank it with some water just to get my protein in. I had some candy at my buddy's house. We were watching a movie, and I was just chilling with my legs up on the couch, and I like kind of stretched, and I felt my quad knot up a little bit. I was like, I've never had that happen before. And I kind of stretched the other one, the same thing happened like 10 minutes later. Then like half an hour after that, I was just laying with my feet up, and all of a sudden my right calf just knotted up, cramped as hard as it possibly could, and it was so painful. For like 10 minutes straight, I'm trying to get my calf to loosen up, and it finally did, and I was just limping around the rest of the night. Started drinking a bunch of Gatorade, eating chips and salsa, getting a bunch of sodium in because I was just sodium depleted, and you will cramp up like crazy, especially if you work your muscle hard, and it still hurts now a few days later. Like, I hope my calf will be better by the time I need to be doing my next leg workout. So I do 3 sets of dips. The first one, I'm still doing weighted with 35 pounds, but it's pretty light for me. I'm doing a set of 10 just to kind of work into it, because my first set of dips, even though I like them, it doesn't hurt, but it just feels a little stiff. You know, it's a different angle, all this stuff from bench press. So doing a little bit lighter weight first, 10 reps to really feel it. And as far as total sets for muscle group, like for back, whatever your main compound is, or not main compound, but main muscle groups like back, chest, your legs, anywhere from 10 to 20 working sets a week is optimal. You know, working them out twice, so shooting for around up to 10 sets per body part. So I did my 2, I don't count the single on the bench press because it's 1 rep. So my 2 heavy sets of bench and my 2 down sets from that, it's 4. I did the 3 hard sets on the incline, which is 7, and then 2 more, which puts me at 9 here for hard working sets for chest. And then for accessory movements like arms and stuff, you know, more like 8 to 16, something like that. So I've got like 3 harder sets of each of those, and it works out. So you're also working your triceps and shoulders when you're doing these other compound movements. So here I've got 100 pounds, and what do we get here? 7 reps. I try to make sure I'm getting full range of motion, like my nose is almost touching the bar, all the way up to elbows locked out. I noticed before when I was doing my pre-peak videos, watching the footage back, that I wasn't getting all the way full range of motion, so I was like, okay, I need to make sure I'm getting all the way up and pushing that. Not necessarily upright, because then you're changing the angle on your chest, because if you're more bent over, you're using your chest more. If you're more upright, it's more triceps. So I'm trying to get more. That makes it kind of like a decline bench, which I don't really like doing. But for dips, it works out. And I'm hitting the triceps. So 3rd set, 2nd hard set, and last set of dips here. I've got 80 pounds hooked to me, a 45 and a 35, and so I do as many as I can. Drop the 35 off, keep going. Drop the 45, keep going. And I've noticed with these that I have been stuck on the same weight for a while. thinking, dang, why am I not getting better? But then you consider over the last 8 weeks, I've gained 12 pounds. So in reality, I'm doing the same amount of reps with over 10 pounds more hooked to me. So if I was to lose weight, then my strength might go up, or if I stay at the same weight for a while, but I'm trying to gain another 10 pounds before the show in the next 5 months. So probably won't be going up much in weight, but I'm still working hard because my body weight's going up. So we did 10 with 80, 5 with, or now doing 45, get another 5 reps. Dang, my nose almost really is touching. Sometimes my left elbow, like right there, kind of like twinges weird when I do these. It's pretty uncomfortable. Dips are one thing I don't always let myself slow back down after failure because it is a lot more stress, it feels like, on my shoulders. It's crazy this last set because it feels so easy the first few reps, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm hitting a wall. So you've done so many reps already. See if I let it down slow. No. Oh. Not on these. So that's the end of the 3 main chest movements. Now I'm just doing a superset, lateral raises, and tricep extensions. 4 sets. The first one's just a warm-up set. And then after that, still going up in weight, and then dropping the weight a little bit after that. But going close to failure on all of them. Let me know down in the comments as well if you'll have any certain types of videos you're interested in or want to see, whatever. Stuff like that. And let me know what you did today for your workout. Hit any PRs, what kind of training split you do, or why, or what you like, what your goals are. Because, everyone's at a different place in their lifting journey or fitness journey, what their goals are. So with lateral raises, I've dislocated my shoulders many times. The last time I did was my right one, gosh, it's been a long time, 12 years ago, almost, 11, something like that. And I'm looking in the mirror. There we go. I don't know what's going on here. The internet connection, but looks like we're back. But yeah, so the single arm tricep extensions now did 25 pounds with the lateral raises and now 17 and a half, and I'm doing 15 reps. And these are pretty easy. Just doing the movement initially, feeling it, making sure I'm good to go. I could probably skip the warm up with this, but Okay, yeah. So a video that helps bridge the knowledge gap between simple calorie counting and more advanced stuff like the nuance of sodium intake, carbs, etc. And I can talk about some of that here, but I'll write that down as well. Actually, I'm gonna take a screenshot so I can have that in my notes. Definitely. But here, second set, 35 pounds for 15 reps, and then moving to cable tricep extensions for 25 pounds for 13 reps. But as far, calorie counting, I'm actually working on a video I'm gonna be making soon about bulking and why most people fail at bulking, as far as a lot of people just get fat. And they may get stronger, but not a whole lot changes, and they lose the weight, and it's like, well, I look the same as I did at the same weight as before, because a lot of people use bulking as an excuse to just get fat or be lazy and not count calories. I'm just gonna eat a lot of food. It is really easy to pack in calories, but not quality calories, in that you could maybe not be getting enough protein if you're just eating junk and candy and stuff. There's just lots of sugar, gives you energy and whatnot, but to me, I'm tracking my food just as much when I've been bulking as before when I'm cutting for bodybuilding show, because I want to make sure, for one, I'm hitting a minimum calorie amount per day, like 3,100 just to maintain where I'm at, and then shooting up towards of 3,500 to add on weight, but also making sure I'm getting close to 200 grams of protein a day. I don't worry about the carbs and fats because, I mean, for one, they're protein sparing. You're gonna be able to use more of the protein towards building muscle when you're in a surplus and you're having more carbs and fats, because those carbs can be used for energy. And I still try to plan, just because I'm so used to it from my bodybuilding show, eating more carbs before a workout, because at this point it may just be more mental because I was so drained and depleted going into a bodybuilding show. Whereas now, you know, my glycogen stores are pretty much full to the max all the time, so it's not an issue. Let's see, this is third set, third of 4, 45 pounds for 90, and these are a little, I will say, these are a little heavy. I can lift them fine. You can see here how the right arm's lower, like I was talking about. But these, I just try to do as many as I can, but then swing them up a little bit more just to feel that heavier weight and letting them back down. I only do one heavy set with the 45s and move back down to 40s after that. And then doing the cable extension 35 for 8. But stuff like, for sodium intake, that doesn't really matter. The only time I think about sodium specifically is the week before bodybuilding show, which I've only done one, but I've done multiple peak weeks, photo shoots and stuff, because you're trying to purposefully get stuff out of your system to get as much water out and look really lean and dry. The only time sodium, aside from that, really matters is situations like this, where I've ran into, I sweated so much and I didn't take in enough sodium afterwards that my muscles knotted up. And all it takes is one time of that happening and you'll probably never forget it again. I'll know, okay, I sweat a bunch, I need something. And I've got a bunch of Gatorade Zeros. They have the same amount of sodium in them as regular Gatorade, but without all the sugar. And I'm bulking, so I might be like, well, who cares about the extra calories? But I still just don't really like drinking calories. I'd rather eat food to make that happen. And carbs, I mean, if you're getting enough protein, I typically eat oatmeal for breakfast. I like making rice and having that, ironically, with chicken or some kind of meat. I just really like plain rice with salt on it. To me, it's really good. And if you're getting enough carbs through that, you're fine. Carbs and fats, if you're just maintaining at maintenance calories, or if you're bulking especially, you shouldn't have a problem with carbs and fats. But if you want to have a successful bulk, the two things you have to pay attention to, one, are to still track everything. Like, I still want to optimize what I'm getting out of my workouts, make sure I'm getting the right amounts of foods and macronutrients that I need. And also have a set goal. Like, a lot of people just say, I'm going to start bulking, and then it's like, I gain 10 pounds, I gain 20, I gain 30, I gain 40. Like, do you realistically think you're going to put on 30 pounds of muscle and only have to lose 10 pounds of fat? No. Like, what I'm doing right now is, the last time I did a bulk was 2 years ago, or I finished it a year and a half ago, and just maintained that weight for a year and kept getting leaner at that weight. But I knew I'm gonna go up to this weight. I gained 12 pounds, that was it, and then just maintain that new weight. So I never got fat, I got thicker. Like, right now, I can tell in my videos that compared to my bodybuilding show, my face is fuller, my cheeks look normal, which is nice. But I didn't go crazy and just gain 30 pounds and have to lose a bunch. That's where you gain so much that when you cut, you end up losing muscle. Whereas in this case, I'm just gonna bulk up and stay. And when I hit my 198, the top of my weight class for the show I'm doing, I'm just gonna stay at that weight for like another 3 or 4 months. Try to keep getting stronger. I'll probably get a little bit leaner during that time too, just from, you're still building muscle and start burning fat when you're maintaining that same weight, doing slight recomp, and then start cutting some for a bodybuilding show. You probably only need to cut like 15 pounds at that point to be within striking distance of on stage, and I can do that over, like, you know, diet for a month, and then just maintain for a little bit, diet for a month, maintain, and then go into bodybuilding show diet. So I don't plan on doing lots of bodybuilding shows, but I do want to try another one after bulking up and getting really strong for this powerlifting meet and see how much different I look. So that was a drop set. I like doing it at the end of most of my lifts. It makes sense. So I did 40s for 14 and then the 30s for 8. And now this is the last thing here. I've got 30 for 11 and then 20. So I'd pull off 10 pounds and do 20 pounds for another 8. But I'll work on making a video specifically on that type of stuff. But the big thing is, if you're within your calorie limits for whatever you're trying to do, maintaining and bulking is easy. Just make sure you're eating normal. You should get enough sodium. Cutting, it could be a little more dangerous. You get depleted. You're trying to cut out as much fast foods and eat really healthy, and you can start to get low on sodium. But there's sodium in everything. I mean, oatmeal has sodium in it. Or no, I'm thinking carbs. But like when I was cutting, the day I cut sodium out on peak week, it's like I'm literally just eating chicken, plain chicken, and broccoli, and that has sodium in it too, but not much. And some green beans, because it's like I don't have a whole lot of stuff to choose from. I'm trying to have no carbs, hardly any sodium. I'm not putting any sauce in the chicken. It's pretty terrible. And you start to feel your muscles cramp too, and then you slowly add it back in. But man, that was so painful when my calf knotted up. I'm flexing my calf right now and I can still feel it. Just right in the middle of my calf now. It's just like, it feels like a bruise almost. Just imagine flexing your muscle as hard as humanly possible for like almost 10 minutes straight. It's a heck of a workout. I've had my chest knot up a little bit, but nothing crazy like that. And I've had Charlie horse, calf cramp before, but man, that was so rough. I really like doing supersets with accessory lifts to get through stuff sooner. And when I'm at a gym, it's not so hot, and I have more options. I might do some other stuff too, some other, like a shoulder press machine, or the shoulder lateral raise machines, and some other tricep type of things where maybe you're sitting on there and pushing down this way, or get a cable over the head, or something different. Usually when I go to gyms or I'm on trips using different equipment, I'll throw in some different exercises because I don't have anything to do, but I got my family and stuff too, so I don't want to just be out here all the time. And the main focus for me at this point is just getting stronger on that bench and the deadlift and the squat to prep for that show. So we're really putting all my energy into that, and then doing the other lifts, accessory things to help out with that after the fact. But that right there is my full push day workout. I used to do, you can see on the wall, I used to track it on there, so I have my leg day on the right, my pull day. So it's push-pull legs is how it's listed, but I always start with legs. Legs first, that's important. And I did it different before. Up there I was doing 20-degree incline bench and then go to flat bench. Then I would do seated overhead press. I just took that out. I'm still doing it some. I don't do it on my push day now. What I do is I do a 4-day split. So I do legs, I do push, or I do legs and biceps, because I've got some issues with my bicep here, and trying to do curls after a bunch of pulling stuff, it just starts to hurt. So my biceps are fresh. I have 2 days between, so there's plenty of time to recover. So I do legs and biceps, then I do push, I do pull, and I do cardio on the 4th day. I don't want to hold 3 on the 4th day. Cardio. So I go swim. And what I've been starting to do now is on that swim day, I'll just do some overhead presses too, sometime later in the day after I'm worked out, because if I go swimming for 30 minutes to an hour and then try to do overhead presses after, I'm going to be really weak and not be able to do much. Or if I do overhead presses and then go swimming, my shoulders are going to be killing me while I'm swimming because the muscles already be tired. So I try to do them, I swim early in the morning, do that later in the day, just to hit a little bit more on the shoulders, some heavy compounds. A similar type of style as the bench press, minus the heavy single. So a couple warm-up sets, a couple sets of 5 to 6, drop the weight some. And I might just drop the weight once there and do like 10 to 12, as many as I can to failure, and then do the same thing again. That's pretty much it. So hope that was helpful, guys. Like, subscribe, all that good. I don't know what I'm saying. All that good stuff. And I will see you in the next one.